Good day. In this video, we're going to look at inequalities. We're going to look at the logical type. They fall in the syllabus, grade 11 and older. Please look at all the videos on inequalities on this channel. They will cover all the different aspects. First sum looks like this. It's minus 4 over x is bigger than or equal to 0. It says solve the following. The first thing you must see is that the top part here is negative. I wrote it on the side here. Sometimes in maths it's written as minus 4 is smaller than 0. This is the same thing. Then there's a restriction. X is not allowed to be 0 because x is underneath in the fraction. The bottom is not allowed to be 0 because that will make it undefined. So I must combine this information and then find the answer. Next, this writing bigger than 0 in maths means positive in this case. So we have a negative divided by x must give me a positive. This means that x is also negative because a minus, this one, divided by another minus will give me a positive. So the final answer of this sum is x is smaller than 0. For the inexperienced, the same way this means positive in maths, the same way this means negative in maths. So this is the final answer. So x can be any number smaller than 0, but you can also write it in interval notation. X is an element of from negative infinity up to 0, excluding the 0. Please don't get a fright. This video is not for the faint of heart. That's why it's called logical inequalities. Bear with me. Now stop the video and try and see what happened here. All the writing in this sum is totally unnecessary. It's just to explain to you what happened. All you get is in the exam, you get a sum looking like this, and you just write this answer thinking all this in between stuff. Here is our second problem that we must solve. They give us these two brackets, and they say that is smaller than or equal to 0. Now logically you're supposed to know that this part of the inequality is definitely already positive. Quickly, how we know that? X squared is definitely positive. A positive plus more positive will stay positive. If you don't understand that, look at the end of the video and then I'll give you a solution to this problem. Again, mathematically, in some cases, this means smaller than 0 means negative. So we have a positive here, times in between there should be a negative because a positive times a negative is going to give me a negative. That means this part must be negative. Now, we only take this part, we write it down, and we say this part should be smaller and equal to 0, because that's the same as negative or equal to 0. Then we solve this inequality, and the final answer is x is smaller and equal to minus 7. Please stop the video and make sure you understand what happened. Here is our next inequality. This thing must be smaller and equal to 0. You're supposed to know that anything squared is positive. That's why we wrote this at the back here. You also should know, restriction in math, that you're not allowed to divide by a 0, so the bottom is not allowed to be 0. And that means x is not allowed to be minus 5. Then, you do not write this, you have to understand this. The top is definitely positive. There's a divide over there, so the bottom must be a negative, because a positive divided by a negative will give me a negative. We said already that smaller than 0 in lots of cases in maths means negative. Now, difficult to understand, this part you don't write, this part falls away, and you only take the bottom, you say that should be smaller than 0. But where's the equal gone? In our restriction we said that this bottom can't equal to 0, so although there's an equal, the equal falls away at this stage. Your final answer is x is smaller than minus 5, the final answer to this inequality. Please stop the video and have a look at this. You do not write this part. You only copy this down. You write this and you write the answer. This is just for me to explain to you. Please watch this video a few times to see what happens every time. This one is different again. You're supposed to see that this bottom is definitely positive because there's a square in the air. Anything squared is positive in maths. On top of that, this 2 minus x is not allowed to be 0. That will make this undefined. So I took the x over, so x is not allowed to be 2. One of the rules in maths that you must watch out for always is that you must try and simplify a fraction if you can. So this guy can go in itself once and goes in there 2 minus x. So that is why this is the answer I got is now bigger than 0. So we have this inequality. 1 over 2 minus x is bigger and equal to 0. Then you should know that the top here is positive. The bottom can't be equal to 0. That makes it undefined, so x can't be 2. So now we only work out this bottom part. We write 2 minus x is bigger than 0. Again, the minus fell away because the bottom is not equal to 0. Get your answer. X is smaller than 2. That's our final answer. Please stop the video and have a look at how it works. Be careful, this one is brand new again. Again, we have, they say, solve the following. So we have something times something is smaller than naught. If we times, this means negative. You don't write this. I just told you that this part is definitely positive. You can write it like this in maths, but this is how we write it in maths usually. Now you must understand, we have a positive over here, times in between. Something must get me a negative. That means that this part must be negative. And you're going to write it like this. So you write x minus 3 is smaller than 0. And that then means x is smaller than 3 is my final answer. It's confusing. That's why this is a logic system. Where has this guy gone? You need to understand where he's gone. He is definitely positive, so we're not taking him in consideration at the end. Please look at the videos on restrictions in algebra. We've got 2 weirdos coming. Let's see if you can sit through to the end. Here we have another inequality that we must solve. It says solve the following. The first thing I did is I took out a common minus here at the top. Now, if you're creative, you will see this part is positive because there's an x squared plus more positive with a negative in front of all of that. That makes this whole thing negative. Then the restriction for undefined, the bottom is not allowed to be 0. Now logically we know this top is definitely positive. The bottom can't equal to 0, so we don't want an x equal to minus 2 over 3 at the end. This is our restrictions. So the green part divide by the blue part should give me a negative. So I wrote here a minus, divide by a plus will give me a minus. This says it must be a negative. That we sure is a negative. So we have a negative divide by what will give me a negative. So we only write down the bottom part and we say the bottom should be bigger than 0. The equal falls away because of this restriction. And we just work out this piece of the sum. Take the 2 to the other side, divide by 3. So x is bigger than or equal to minus 2 over 3 is my final answer. The moment you think you've seen it all, there's always one other one. Here it says solve the following. They tell us x is smaller than 2 and x is bigger than or equal to 2. Find the solution. This one I'm going to answer on a number line. So I took a number line over here. There's 1, 2, 3. It says x is smaller than 2. That means a circle at 2 and we're going in this direction. There it is. Then it also says and x is bigger than or equal to 2. So I went to 2, put a black dot and go in this direction. But they want the answers to be happy here and here. Now on this answer, x is lying from 2 in this direction. And on this answer, x is lying from 2 in this direction. There is no place if you draw lines like here, where this line and this line are happy with each other. So it means that if x is smaller than 2 and x is bigger than or equal to 2, that there is no answer here. This might be confusing, but the final answer is no solution. I will make a video on the word and or and explain this on that video again. You can just type on the channel explaining and or. Please remember, if there's anything, especially in this section that you run into that you're unsure about and you can't get your head around it, please send that specific one problem to me on this number with a WhatsApp photo, a clear WhatsApp photo. Then I'll try and solve it and send it back to you as soon as possible for free.